Hi, so my name's Steph and I just wanted to make this video to share a bit about my unplanned C-section and also a little bit about my pregnancy experience and my postpartum experience. You can hear my little baby having a little bit of a chat. Hi! Yep, okay. So actually I was planning a really natural birth. I was all for the holistic route. You know, I was really feeling, oh my God, I wanted to...
2 hours later.
Hi guys, so my name's Steph. I'm 33 years old and I wanted to make this video to share a bit about my unplanned C-section. So I gave birth on the 26th of Jan and baby was due on the 27th. And this is my first ever pregnancy as well. So there was a lot of new things that I've learned along the way over the last 2.5 months. One of the main things that really made an impact on my whole birthing experience is my misconception that having a elected C-section is possible in public hospital. I was under the wrong impression that you could only have an elected C-section if you had private health insurance and you were giving birth in a private hospital, like as if it was some sort of privilege that you got to have. So the whole time I was planning a very natural birth. I was even considering, you know, having a home birth in a bath and all this kind of stuff, trying to be as natural as possible. You know, I always thought, like, you know, women have been giving birth naturally for centuries. I'm pretty sure our bodies are more than capable of doing that too. So yeah, I was all for it and, you know, really didn't want to be in a very sterilized environment in the hospital and things. But along the way, there were a few things I also learned, you know, with regards to the risks that can occur, and also the home birthing experience does cost a lot more money because you are hiring private health practitioners. So anyway, when it came down to labor, baby had been in the right position, but unfortunately baby's head was, instead of being like going down from the forehead, the back of his head was entering the exit, or whatever you call it, the uterus. So I was 5 centimeters dilated by the time we got to the hospital, and labor, or the contractions for me, were like so terrible, so horrible. It was actually a very tough experience. And it's only taken me like, you know, maybe even up until now to fully process my whole birthing experience. And, you know, as you keep talking about it, as you share the experience with friends and family and things, it really helps to peel the layers back to everything that happened. And it had nothing to do with, I mean, it really, like the midwives and nurses and all did their best at the hospital. So I'm really glad and really grateful for the support and help that I received while at the hospital. So I gave birth at Monash Hospital in Clayton in Melbourne. And so anyway, when we got to the hospital, this was at like 3 a.m. on the 26th. And after 3-4 hours, the dilation, it still hadn't gotten any bigger. I was still sitting at 5 centimeters, even though my contractions were lasting like 3 minutes at a time, and they were so strong, and there'd only be like a 10-second break in between before the next contraction happened. So it was like I was just in constant pain. And me and my partner, we just felt like, is this ever gonna end? Because it just went on and I was so exhausted. I didn't take any of the pain relief such as like the epidural and stuff. I really wanted to just not be under too much medication. The only thing that I was taking was the nitrous oxide, I think that's what you call it, nitrogen, or you know, that this thing that you inhale. That was really giving me a head spin. I really felt actually that I was pretty high from that itself. So yeah, after a few hours, things still weren't progressing. Baby's heart rate, my heart rate kept going, kept increasing and decreasing. So it was like a back and forth between trying to keep myself and baby in a comfortable position. And because of baby's position in there, I also couldn't control my bladder. So I was literally like peeing myself while lying there, and it was such a vulnerable experience. I had to keep like nudging my partner, hey, can you wipe me down there, because I'm literally like peeing myself. Yada yada. Midwives swapped around, like some midwives finished their shifts around like 6 or 7 a.m. So a new set of midwives came in. That really changed the whole vibe of the room. And one of them was really assertive and said, okay, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna try this, we're gonna try that. Another midwife tried to like put me in a different position, and that helped for a moment. But yeah, it just kept going on. So finally around, I think 10 a.m. so this was like going on since like 3. So finally at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., a set of other midwives came in, and they were like, look, these are your options. You know, C-section, you can have the epidural, that may help to relax you, or some other reasons. But my partner was like, look, having the epidural doesn't guarantee that I will progress any further. And I was all for the C-section. Now, if it wasn't for another one of my friends, one of my partner's friends, wives, she gave birth like, I think 5 or 6 months before me. So she was explaining that she had an elected C-section, and when she got to the hospital, she was already 6 centimeters dilated, and they were encouraging her like, look, you're doing great, you're almost there, are you sure you don't want to just keep going all the way natural? And she's like, nope, I want to have the C-section. And she explained that her recovery experience was really pretty good, pretty easy, and like she was having a ball pretty much after that. So that really, just having that conversation with her changed my idea, changed my idea of what options I was going to go with. And I'm so grateful that we had that, because by the time we got down to the surgery room, I was like pretty out of it, and I just wanted the whole experience to be over already, and I just wanted to get baby out and make sure that he was safe. So they gave me the anesthetic, and then like within 30 minutes, the whole operation happened. I didn't feel anything. You're completely numb throughout the experience. And hi. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi. So yeah, I'm just feeding baby right now, if you can hear him in the background. So yeah, the whole process only took about 30 minutes from getting the anesthetic in my lower back from the anesthesiologist. So they transport you in that wheelie bed down to the surgery room, and then they ask you to sit up straight, and the anesthesiologist will inject the anesthesia in your lower back. You have like this robe on, and then you lie down, and then one of the doctors or nurses will check to see how numb you are, and she asks you like, tells you that you should be numb like at least up to your chest. So she did a tapping test and asked if I could feel anything, and then once like she was tapping on my chest, and I think it was at my ribs somewhere, checking, and I said I literally couldn't feel anything anymore. So she's like, all right, go ahead, like the anesthesia has kicked in. So yeah, they put the curtain up, and I was very aware of like the reflection of the white light. I could kind of see a little bit of what was happening beyond the curtain, so I really made sure that I just didn't put my focus there, and I looked away, and my partner was constantly by my side and reassuring me and just like in it with me, and he was you know, tearing up and getting very emotional. So that for me was like so cute to witness, because you know, that's the moment our lives are going to be changed forever, and we are going to literally become someone's parents, which is still so bizarre. You know, like you think, how crazy would it be to become a parent, and it still feels like that. You know, you look at your baby and you're like, I'm literally this child's parents, you know. So anyway, after that, I could hear like, me and my partner, we could hear like a little like cough or like a little breath, and we knew in that moment that that was the first sound that we heard of our son. And then later, like a few moments later, he started crying, and then they lifted him up for us to see him. And that moment in itself is just unforgettable. Yeah. So anyway, they lift him up, and they take him over. They bring him over to me for a little moment of like skin to skin and let me meet baby. And then like short moments after, they'll take him over to clean him up with my partner. And then he did a little cutting of the cord ritual. Like the cord had already come off the placenta, which gets taken out. That's also another thing that I learned about only later, or maybe like very close to giving birth. So anyway, yeah, they take baby over, tidy him up, and then baby and daddy will go and they will give him an injection or something while they're stitching me up. So they go into another room waiting for me, and then the doctors, once they're done stitching me up and putting a thing over the wound, they'll lift me like a big sack of potatoes and roll me onto the wheelie bed, take me to the nursing area, and then give me some medication, and immediately baby is put on the boob for milk. So yeah, one of the things that I learned is how immediately baby is dependent on you for your breast milk. So if you are planning to breastfeed, or if you are, I guess, lucky enough to produce milk, because I know, like I also learned a lot of women do struggle with milk production. So being able to feed baby right now with my breast milk, I'm very grateful for that my body has been capable of doing that. Yeah, I learned that immediately baby is dependent on your breast milk to eat and to have nutrients, right? Unless you are giving baby formula. And then once the nurses are done like giving you medication, you're then taken down to like the nursing or area where you're going to spend the next 2 nights. And you're pretty much with baby straight away. Just you and baby and your partner, or nurses coming in to do checkups every so often. So actually I had like, well, I actually had the best time at the hospital, because the midwives were so supportive and so attentive to you, and they came in and helped me change my pads, you know, checked on me and made sure, you know, whether I needed any support with breastfeeding or collecting the colostrum from the fridge. That's another thing where if you have started to practice pumping colostrum from your breasts like prior to giving birth, they will store it for you and help bring it to you if you need to feed baby with that extra milk or colostrum. That's another thing that I'm very grateful that I did before birth. Like I think 10 days before my due date, I started to practice like squeezing colostrum out of my nipples. And the more that you practice that and more that you support the massaging of your titties to produce that colostrum, I think that starts to activate production. So I ended up putting away maybe, I think like 30 mils of colostrum. I think it was like 20 to 30 mils of colostrum to keep for when baby was born. And I feel like my mind is all over the place because there's so many different things. Baby is also feeding right now. So actually what I do is I put my breast milk sometimes in these Tommy Tippy bottles so that I can feed him and have a break from holding him and having to hold him while breastfeeding. And what I found has helped a lot, which my sister-in-law has put me on, is I keep these little milk collecting cups. This one's from, sorry. This one is called the Hakka, like milk collector or something like this. You can find it at like the chemist. So my sister's month is a pretty delicate and sensitive time. I know like the first week in itself was very edgy, shall I say. Like your nervous system is so on edge because your whole being is focusing on the well-being of your baby, and your baby's so tiny that you're just like constantly ensuring that baby is safe and like awake and like alive pretty much, all in while your body is healing. And without the pain medication, you can definitely feel the sting. Like when my pain medication started to wear off some days, because I was trying to wean off medication as soon as possible and not be so groggy from it, which wasn't too much of an issue, but I just wanted to be as clean and free from medication as soon as possible. Let me just hold my baby. Bro. Okay. Hi.
Oh my God.
Okay. So yeah, on a scale of like a 0 to 10, okay. Hi. Okay. On a scale of 0 to 10, I would rate the recovery phase maybe like a 7. Yeah, the pain, if the medication starts wearing off and your uterus has yet to be fully healed, like takes it apparently 8 weeks, but mine started to feel pretty good around 7 weeks. I'll just show you guys what the scar looks like now. The pain can be quite intense. Like it's hard to get up when you can feel the sting if your medication has worn off. So yeah, but if you keep up with the pain medication, I would say like recovery is fine as long as, you know, you have a supportive partner who helps to bring you food or, you know, whatever needs to be done, or just in your immediate surroundings. If your partner's there to support you through that process, I think you'd be fine. And there's really not much bad things to say about my C-section experience other than the fact that I wish I had known that I could choose a C-section sooner, because I was in labor for so long, in so much pain, that I felt like I didn't want to be in, as much as I was rooting for myself to go as natural and keep pushing. The reality of the situation is that baby's head was not in a good spot, and when he came out, his head was literally like a cone all the way up to here, because he was trying to push and his brain was getting squished, and his eyes were even like having this bloodshot, not bloodshot, but this red ring around them because of so much pressure. So I was feeling so sorry for him that he had to go through that, and I wish I wish I just chose to have taken him out earlier through the cesarean surgery. Anyway. So if you're a first-time mom, if you're a first-time mom just like me and you're giving birth soon and you're watching this, I'm so excited for you. You're doing great. Motherhood as a first-time mom's perspective, from a first-time mom's perspective, is just undescribable. Like, this is the best era of my life, and I have been ready for this chapter for a while. I'm 33 years old, and I can't believe I'm actually a mum now. Like, you could say I could never imagine what it would be like to be a mum, and I'm still feeling that. I can't believe this little human is my responsibility and I'm his whole world. And actually one of the greatest feelings is, even now, if I pass him to someone to hold, if they want to hold or something, he looks for me and he knows who I am, and he's always wanting to make sure that I'm close. And that feeling in itself is like, wow, like this is my son and I'm the most important person in his life at the moment. So that's just such a sweet experience that you have as a new mum as well. And yes, so good luck. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Hi.
I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. What happened?
Lucas plug came out.
Oh,
Bro.
I forgot to show me. Did the milk is plug